Sup everyone, and today we are going to be covering top 10 defenders, which includes centre backs and full backs in the Football Manager 2021 game. These are the dubbed Wonderkids of the game, but also we're going to be looking at what happens to them in 5 years into the future. As a disclaimer, as you can see clearly on the thumbnail, I do have Matthias de Ligt. I feel that he is well known, he's well-known Wonderkid, so I'm not gonna state the obvious, but there are some surprises in the game, so let's jump straight in. The reason why I want to cover at least 10 players from this defensive position, because it does include sort of centre backs and full backs. So I'll try to cover 5 centre backs and 5 full backs, but the first one is a little known defender. For those of you that played Football Manager 20, you will know that Todoroki was a monster of a player, and he's got a massive upgrade in Football Manager 21. As you can see on the stats, he's 25 years of age in the game, signed for Chelsea, valued at £65 million, 30 caps for France, but the meaty part, right, you can see he's a proper ball playing defender with his passing of 16, a massive 16, tackling 16, technique which will go with passing at a respectable 14, determination and composure at 15 and 16 respectively, but his physical stats is the standout. You can see his strength, pace, jumping reach, agility, acceleration, all at a very high level. Yes, he can play centre back, CDM, or a midfield central position, but as we know that he's better suited at the centre back position. Such a monster of stats. Historically, you can see that he was on loan from Barcelona for first few seasons before SLB B team surprisingly snapped him up in my game the second season 2021 for a measly £20 million. So Barcelona clearly didn't rate him. Obviously he spent a couple of seasons with them and signed for Chelsea at £52 million, and since then he's been playing the 2 seasons he's been playing for Chelsea pretty much full on, you can say. 35 appearances, Premier League appearances, mind you. In his first season, 2 goals, 4 assists, 7 man of the match winning performances with an average rating of 7.40. As you can see, he doesn't start off very good in the game, and clearly you can snap him up quite early in the game. Second season for a very small amount, despite the fact that the type of player he turns out to be, and already the media description is at an elite centre back level. Next up is a new one, and we haven't really heard of him until this Football Manager, but he resides from Albania, 49 caps already. He's for Liverpool, he's playing for Liverpool currently at 25 years of age. It is Marash Kumbulu. I hope I pronounced the name right, but look at his stats. He's a pure centre back, isn't he? A right footed centre back. You can see his heading is at 16, marking 16, tackling 17, positioning 17, concentration 17, anticipation 17. I mean, this guy is an absolute monster of a centre-back. If you want a typical throwback Vidic style centre-back, this guy is a Vidic style centre-back. You know, nothing fancy, nothing of passing range or whatever. It's just straight up, win the ball and get out of there, clear the ball. You can see some of his physical stats are very good, especially his jumping reach. Although his aerial ability, I think, could be better, but it works. It's still good. Someone that you can certainly train in that area of the field. Historically, you can snap him up. As you can see, Roma has snapped him up for £20 million after a couple of seasons on loan. But you can see Liverpool came in with a £39 million fee, although they haven't played him much in the centre of the defence, probably because Van Dijk occupies the one position clearly. But you can see that with his stats, he is a very good, solid defender. A defender you can rely on, just a pure centre back, someone who can tackle and get out. That's pretty much him, Marash Kumbulu. Next up is an Argentine defender, Nehuen Perez. Hope I pronounced it right. God, some of these names. But you can see 25 years of age. He's got 23 caps for Argentina. And some of the standout stats are his marking at 16, positioning at 16, determination, which I rate really high, at 16, a concentration at 17, bravery, anticipation and aggression along with agility and stamina and pace, natural physical. And my god, this guy, if I said the last guy was Vidic-esque, this guy is actually a Nemanja Vidic. His aggression is alone. He's gonna probably get you a lot of yellow cards, but at the end of the day, with his tackling at a very good 15, his positioning, marking and determination and even concentration, he's certainly going to be a defender you won't normally mess with. Yes, the strength is a bit off. I'm sure that's one of the areas that certainly you can definitely develop. Historically, he starts off at Granada beat him, but a lot of loan moves, and from Atletico Madrid, by the way. Man City, what's up with his English club signing up some of the best centre backs, right? Man City signed him for £29.5 million. Turns out to be a bargain, because the next couple of seasons he pretty much played in the first team over and over again. But what a stats, what an attribute. Perez of Argentina, one of the other decent centre backs that you can definitely snap up for very cheap early on. So historically, you can see that very cheap money, you can 350k literally on loan. But it's Ampadu, a Welsh defender at the age of 24 years of old. He's got 60 caps for Wales already. Sort of a lot of decent stats out there. 15 at tackling, passing and marking. In terms of anticipation, bravery and composure, very high stats there. Yes, his physical side might be a bit weak, but certainly a defender that you can possibly get for really cheap. That turns out to be a very good defender 5 years on into the game. And mind you, he's only 24, so he can still develop. Historically, Bayern Munich has snapped him up from Chelsea for £30 million. He's had loan spells across every club. He is from Chelsea, but certainly Chelsea is someone that you can basically, Chelsea gets rid of him. Let's put it this way, Chelsea gets rid of him. You can snap him up for quite cheap. He's out and about on loan, and I feel that if he wasn't out on loan too much and if he was given the chance, some of his stats will definitely develop further on. Ampadu. Last but not least, on the centre backs, Wonderkid centre backs on FM21, 5 years on, is the one and only Josko Gvardiol. I hope I pronounced it right, but he is, from talking to you guys, watching your streams, watching videos and researching, he is one of the standout centre backs in the game. A left-footed centre back as well. Some of his stats at the age of 23, he's got 32 caps already, but his physical abilities are amazing. It's off the roof, and you can clearly see that he's gonna 100% develop a proper ball playing defender as well. He's got the vision for it as well. Passing ability at the respectable 14, tackling at 14. Determination, which is super important for development for sure, is at a very high 15. At the age of 23, you can certainly develop these stats even further. Historically, he's an RB Leipzig defender. You can see that they snapped him up from Dinamo. He's on loan. He starts off as a loan player, about £14.5 million, which is a huge bargain. And since he's come into the first team, you can see he has played nearly every game for RB Leipzig. A left-sided, left-footed defender, a very rarity in these days, a very rarity in terms of quality these days. But this is Josko Gvardiol. Now, I'm obviously going to combine the fullbacks with the centre backs in this particular video only. And first up, 5 years on, Wonderkid fullback, it is David de la Vibora, a Madrid left back. He's only 22 in the game, despite being 5 years on. He starts off in the game as a 17-year-old, but you can see for a fullback, some of the stats are amazing. His passing technique is off the roof there. His crossing and dribbling are very good for a left-sided fullback. His physical stats are amazing. Yes, obviously, you're not going to expect jumping reach and strength for fullbacks, but in terms of pace, acceleration, agility, balance, they're all very good. Even as far as stamina, because you know, fullbacks are expected to do a lot more than just go and cross the ball into bomb back and back and forth all throughout the game. Historically, he's at Real Madrid. As you can see, he's been at Real Madrid B team for a long time, and I'm pretty sure that you can pretty much snap him up for a super bargain. One of the advantages that he has is that he can play across the whole of the left side, whether it's left back, winger, and potentially an wide winger or whatever you call it. But yeah, I can see it happening. The other left back wonder kid in this list is none other than Brandon Williams. Now, Brandon Williams got very much a huge upgrade in this particular game. As you can see, at the age of 24, despite not earning any caps for England, because we know that England has a lot of great fullbacks, he has a very good stat ability. His mental is mental. You can see his mental stats are mental, but his physical stats are also great. He's very, very pacey. Some of the technical side of things I think you can use to develop a little bit more. He's still 24 in the game. As you can see, I would like to see the crossing and dribbling for a fullback to be much higher than that. He can play on the left side, but he is a right-sided player, so particularly if you want to train him for the right side, he can do that as well. Historically, he starts off at Manchester United, but FC Porto ended up snapping him up for £17 million about 4 seasons in, who's pretty much a bargain for that amount. Someone that can provide you 6-7 seasons solid, and someone that can improve certainly is worth a shout. This is the ultimate fullback in the game, one of the newer fullbacks and huge upgrade in the game. It is Nuno Mendes. 5 years on, you can see this fullback is an absolute monster. At the age of 23, he's already earned 49 caps internationally. He's an attacking fullback. You can see some of his stats. His dribbling is 16, crossing is 15, anticipation is 16, decisions 16. His physical stats are off the flipping roof there, and you can see Man City has paid a lot of money for him. Like, I'll go back, you can see they paid £41 million for him in the second season, which, to be frank, seems like a lot of money, but for a young defender who will give you 10 seasons easily is a bargain. You can see he's been pretty much a starter for Man City all the way through across his career. But my god, just have a look at his stats. Just sit back and admire it for a little bit. What a player, Nuno Mendes. Now onto the right back positions. Obviously we got the likes of Trent and even on the left back Alphonso Davies, but these I feel are more popular names. Everyone kind of knows. Max Aarons makes my list as a right back option because I feel that he has been given a big upgrade in this game, but he hasn't been talked about enough in FM20. But you can see that he's 25 years of age, earned 17 caps for England already at that age. Obviously Trent, who is the best right back in the game, plays in that position. I would have assumed he would have earned more than that, but you can see his physicals are off the roof, his mental is off the roof, the determination is at 16, and that is excellent. That is superb. Yes, you probably, for a fullback, you can definitely kind of work on his crossing a little bit more, and dribbling is fantastic, tackling is 14, technique at 16. He's been snapped up by Spurs for £36.5 million from Norwich in the second season, and you can see across his stats here some very good stats. He has played for Spurs pretty much every game in the season in the Premier League, especially his last season, where every season he has had an average rating of over 7, but his last season, where he had 36 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, 8 man of the match performance at a rating of 7.68. This is a monster of a right back who improves as he gets more game time, who improves as the seasons go along. Max Aarons. Next up is a French defender, which is Pierre Kabalu. Now, he's one of the new guys in the game. The reason why I'm including him into this particular video is some of his stats are really good. I just feel that he can get better with some of the stats. Maybe a bit of tweaks and individual training, he will certainly have some stellar stats going forward. The reason why I included him, because obviously we got some expensive defenders on the list, but I want to include some cheaper options. You can see his only Brest has signed him up for £1.6 million, but in the first season for Milan, you can get him for really cheap at 450k. You cannot go wrong. You absolutely cannot go wrong. For someone who's on a budget looking for a right back, less than £1 million, you can get this very decent right back, certainly that who can play on the left side as well if you train him enough on it, and he can certainly improve some of his abilities and stats. Certainly I think with individual training and enough concentration and enough time, he can turn out to be a very good right back, a cheaper option right back from some of the guys that we've seen in this particular video. Pierre Kabalu. Next right back Wonderkid list in this video, 5 years on in Football Manager 21, is an English right back, 51 caps, 25 years of age. it is James Reese, or Reese James, you know, whatever you want to call it. Media personality is already, he's at an elite level, and look at some of his stats. It's going to cost you a lot of money, I reckon, but his physical are off the flipping roof. His crossing and passing are 16, which means he's going to connect his crosses a lot. Concentration, determination, man. There are some really good right backs and left backs in the game, but this is one of the best, especially if you have money to sign him. Historically, he's been at Chelsea all the way through. Nobody's tried to prize him away, but he's been a Chelsea first teamer all the way through. You can see he played 30 plus games pretty much every season in the save so far, and he's always had a assist or goals, or a bunch of goals, or a bunch of assists, and certainly a lot of the man of the match performances last season. 5 man of the matches. I assume he's one of the tougher players to prize away in the game. I don't believe Chelsea will let him go that easily. He's definitely one for the future. And to be honest, at the age of 25, we've got Trent in the game as well. He's earned 51 caps, right? Which means he must have absolutely destroyed Trent at some point during the career. Reece James, everyone. And that's it, guys. That wraps up the video of the best Wonder Kid in the centre back and full back positions 5 years on in FM21. There are some players that are obvious players. I know, you know, I'm looking at you, Alphonso Davies, but I didn't want to include some of the obvious players like a Trent or a Alphonso Davies. These are sort of well known. There are some well known players but has got a big upgrade in FM21. Example, Reece James and Max Aarons being one of them. But there are some stellar players out there that are new to the game or not known at all, and I hope this video did help some of you guys out there who's embarking or we're looking to embark on the FM21 journey. Make sure you smash the like button, guys. I really do appreciate all the support I get in this channel. I'll try to bring in more videos and I'll cover more videos, so stay tuned and subscribe in this channel as I bring you more Football Manager 2021 content. As always, guys, take care.